Hello, everybody. My name's Chachi. That is Tom. Welcome back to In Our Humble Opinion. We're rolling. We have kids. We don't have all day, but we have enough time for you guys. Anyway, we're gonna get into all of Week 11's action, but first we're gonna start with our teams because it's what we always do. And especially me and Tom are gonna start with the Raven game because it was first. Well, no, actually they occurred at the same time, but we're just gonna do this because I have a lot to say. And Tom does too, but
Hey, if you go alphabetically, B starts before G and also C. Okay, let's go.
I'm not good at alphabet, so I don't know what that means. I don't believe in the alphabet.
Today we're brought to you by the letter B and the number 10.
They also played like a bunch of never mind something that begins with B. Anyway, so Ravens were at the Steelers. They lost 18-16. I watched this over at my friend's house named Scott. Tom knows him. He's a friend too. Anyway, it was
Scotty O2.
it was a typical Ravens game. You know, our coach, the team looked like they didn't know what they were doing. One team was ready for the physicality, the other one wasn't. Patrick Queen played a really good game. I want to point that out because you know you always have people on the Ravens side, their fan base trashing him because he left. The guy's still really good. He made a lot of plays in that game. Was flying all over the field. Did a good job. Lamar didn't play up to par. That's a theme, like Tom said. The Derrick Henry fumble was terrible in the beginning. It was just like a momentum killer, and I don't know what he was doing. I love Derrick, but dude, again, now the thing I'll give him is this is his first time in a Ravens Steelers game, so maybe he doesn't understand. Like this is your people are playing hard the whole game, so a lot of times in these games it's like a random person you never heard of on the other team, either team making a play, like the third corner or like a linebacker that no one's heard of just stripping the ball. Now he has played well all year, their linebacker, the one who made the strip tackle, but I'm saying he's still a relatively new name, but that was really good play. You got to be ready for the backside defender though. Guy didn't fumble in 580 attempts, and now he fumbles. It's like not good timing. They out physical the Ravens. I would caution Steeler fans though. Even with three turnovers to their zero, you still only won the game, and if by two, and if the kicker makes two of them, and I will call him the kicker because I love Justin Tucker. But what the hell has happened? And he's pulling every kick to the left. He's missed seven already. That is, he's making what, Tom, $6 million a year. I'm like, they're not going to let you do that if you're gonna miss all these kicks. They're gonna either tell you take a pay cut.
Well, he either he's hurt or it's like a golf swing, man. Like sometimes it's hard, like, and you know, look, he's an all pro, right? You gotta like, and you can see like kickers matter in this league.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah. So, anyways,
The
like,
Steelers though,
I don't know, man.
their defense.
I don't know what's up with him, but ever since that Kansas City AFC title game, dude, where he was talking trash, dude, that man has not been right.
The Steelers. That's true. That's very true. The Steelers' defense is really good, though. I think the Logan Wilson play should have been a penalty. First off, and secondly, I don't know what Justice Hill was doing. So both sides, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. If you watch the play, he never looks for the ball. Which I think is not fair because when a D back does that, they always call a penalty on a defensive back because they're like shielding. He didn't look for the ball. When a linebacker does it, it's okay. He did the same thing. Didn't look for the ball, grabbed him early, but that's fine. But I'm just saying, the refs like to throw a flag every time the Ravens do something. Why don't you be consistent? And Patrick McCary, please, for the love of God, stay behind the line of scrimmage. That it's there for a reason. You're a professional football player. This isn't me going out there the first time playing lineman, playing a guard. That would make sense because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what you're doing. Why are you running by the line of scrimmage every time? Lamar's every other lineman understands, like, oh, Lamar's trying to get away from the pass rush. You're over here. That's another thing. The line. You know, they have like this renaissance in the middle of the year where everyone was like, look how good they're playing. No, they're still not that good. That Steelers D line was killing them all day. Lamar was running for his life. And when he's doing that, can we catch the ball, Zay Flowers? Like your hands, buddy. That one play. What are you doing? What? I love Zay Flowers. I think he's really good and going to be really good for a long time. But his hands are very inconsistent. He has a he has times where it's like, eh. But Tom and me were talking before the show. Lamar just didn't play his normal way he has been playing. Everything went down a notch. The team just, it's one of those typical Raven games. Tom will understand this. He's watched enough of them. where you just know the whole way you're watching it, they're letting the team stay in the game. They're keeping it close. They're not going to win, though. They're keeping it close, but you're like, they're not going to win this game. I knew they weren't going to win that game. The 2-point conversion, I had no doubt that wasn't going to work, especially when Derrick Henry is not on the field. Why? What was the point of that? So we're going to run a Lamar boot without Derrick Henry on the field, so they don't even care. Did you see their team? They did not even move to. They were like, Justice Hill, who cares? And they just let him run over there, and they're like, we're just going to follow Lamar. If you had Derrick Henry in there, they would have to have people stay at home. No, we won't even put no touches in the fourth quarter. You played the game like you were down by 30 points. You were down by 8. Run the ball. We went over this last year. We don't want to run the ball anymore. Like me and Tom talked about, John Harbaugh has been living off that Super Bowl for a long time. And one in which our team was not even close to the best team. They got hot. Joe Flacco played ridiculous. They won. But I mean, it's getting to the point you got to start looking at the coach. He always gets a break. It's always Lamar. It's the defense. It's this. It's that. Who's coaching this team? That's all I'm asking. Like what? This is inconsistency every time. My thing is too, if they, you can lose the Pittsburgh game, but the reason you're in like this bind where right now it's like, oh, you lost this game that was huge, is because you lost to 2 teams you should have beat earlier in the year when you weren't ready. Right now you should be 9-2 with this loss, okay? But no, you lost to the Raiders and the Browns, and yes, while it was both games you could have won, you didn't, because it's typical Ravens, big points of the game, you didn't make the adjustments. You didn't win the game when you needed to. You panicked at the end and lost. Okay? Your coach has a trend. It's always we have a lead, we let them come back and we lose the game. That's still happening. You have to do better with that. Okay? I still think they can win something, but I do think it's very like, do I trust you? Do I trust you guys to be consistent? And right now, what it looks like, win 4 playoff games on the road? No, I don't. So, ask me as a fan, do I think they have a shot? No, but I didn't think the 2012 team did. So I'm not going to say they're totally hopeless, but I mean, it's really, they got to get some stuff fixed. The only thing I will give them praise for, Tom, and it was against the Steelers, I know that, but they made adjustments on defense, which I liked. They had Hamilton playing more like high safety, taking away the deep pass, which was good. Tre'Davious White, they actually used him well. I think he can work in that form, just like being a physical corner against their physical matchups, which he did a really good job on George Pickens. It was kind of fun watching them 2 fight and the refs actually not throw a flag, like let 2 guys just compete for the ball. And George Pickens is an animal. He's a little crazy. Got to watch him. He's going to get you some penalties that might lose you the game, but it was really fun.
He's gonna round hook his kick you to the face.
Yeah. To be fair, though, overall, the thing I did enjoy was the Ravens-Steeler game. What's always fun to watching about it is it's like old school, really physical football. It's fun to watch the chippiness and stuff. It really is fun. Another silver lining for the Ravens, they're doing a really good job of taking their time with Keaton Mitchell. If you can get him back in some capacity to help your team, that would help too. I like how they're taking their time with him. A lot of times you see people throw him in there too early. Let the guy return kicks, and when he starts getting like comfortable with his leg, let him run more. I get it. That's smart. Justice Hill's played well all year, but overall the defense showed improvement. Darius Washington, much better. I know he's short, plays much better than the other 2 guys you were putting in there. Like Tom said, Eddie Jackson's done. Listen, I don't know what happened to him, but he ain't even close to what he was like 3 years ago. The guy's just, sometimes it's football. Sometimes not for long, baby. You ain't got it anymore. And Marcus Williams, I'll say this for the Ravens, at least you're gonna have a lot of cap room next year, because he ain't coming back. The guy's weird. He's very athletic. He's always in the wrong position. But that's my thoughts. I think the Ravens need to bounce back on Monday night. Let's hope they do, and that's all I got. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, you hit all the points, man. I mean, like, I think the biggest thing you gotta start wondering is like for the Ravens, right? What they have to think about. Mm-hmm. It's not like, number one, you gotta, like, Lamar in these big games, you gotta put him in a position to succeed. I mean, he's not good against Pittsburgh. He's 1-4. Yep. He hasn't played in a lot of them. That's the weird thing. I think the Steelers are 8 of 9, but there's been so many games that they've like beaten Baltimore, where Baltimore's already like locked up the number one seed.
Yeah, that it's
Like,
disingenuous.
it's a very misleading stat. I think the stat though that matters is like the Steelers clearly do a good job of taking Lamar out of his element, right? And to your point, hey, you know the Steelers are going to do it. Then why don't you, like, this is a game, man, you need this game, right? Why are you not running the ball? Like, you paid Derrick Henry all that money.
Well,
hand him the ball.
Well, Tom, he had what it made no
Don't
sense.
put these running backs and players on pitch counts.
Tom,
you paid him the money, do it.
Tom, what I don't get is Derrick Henry's shown you throughout his career, even now in this year, he's not really an injury-prone guy either. Like, what's he been hurt once in his career, twice? Like, he's never really had a real bad injury. The guy's pretty durable. Not only that, what I don't get in this game, just when you stop running the ball, usually when that happens, right, they're stopping him, and that's why you do it. No, it was the opposite. He just had like a 25-yard run, then a touchdown. Then you said, oh, now we got to stop. Oh, he's starting to get it going. Let's not run him. Like, what? He was 13 for 65. He was doing pretty good with a touchdown. But no, we're not going to run it. I'm like, why? They weren't up 30-16. They were up 30. They were up 18-12. Like, why weren't you running the ball? What? Anyway.
Yep.
18-10. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, you got to question, like, it's the flow of the game, right? I mean, Green Bay, when we get to them, that's a similar comment I have about just, like, it's not, and it's more the opposite way. But that game was just bizarre in terms of, like, possessions and what it looked like. But anyways, I mean, I think people underestimate with the Ravens. Number one, they're in a big transition here.
They are.
In terms of on defense, but then also on the offensive line, man, everyone knew it was going to be a problem. They really did. And I think when you play bad teams, you get lucky sometimes, right? Like Cincinnati's defense is trash, so you can kind of get lucky. You get lucky.
Well, that's the problem with Kansas City.
And I think, like, look, the good thing is in a couple years, all these guys he drafted that are, I think having Rosenberg out there is a good thing. He's learning. He's learning the hard way sometimes. Like, he's getting crushed because, like, dude, you got to try to block P.J. Watt and Highsmith. And, I mean, look, like the one guy,
Nope. Tom, you okay?
Him there. And, like, when they picked him, I was like, oh, that is just such a good pick. Like, I mean,
say it again because it cut off.
The Steelers. The Steelers for like 4 or 5 years, they went through their bumps and bruises because they were trying to rebuild that defensive and offensive line, and now they've done it.
Yep.
They win games because in the trenches they're good.
Yep.
Right, like that's honestly where they win.
Oh well, I want to give them credit. They did what no one's really done all year against the Ravens. I know the Ravens defense has been bad, but against the run, the Ravens defense has been really good. They ran pretty well against them. Most teams don't do anything against them. They were running okay.
Yeah, I know you are. And again, it's a rivalry game. It's close, right? It comes down to a few plays, and I think for the Ravens, what's hurting them is there's just guys that normally make the plays, like Justin Tucker.
Yep.
I think now, like, the fan base, while they're frustrated of his, like, downhill descent, it's like, dude, that guy was a weapon for a long time.
Oh, I think he can. I think he can easily. I think he could come back because he's hooking it. If he can get it straightened out, he'll be fine. But it's just it's like you said. You consistently before were like, oh, we got this, and then he just misses them. Now it's like, ugh, crap. Can't rely on that right now. Right now, maybe he'll flip it. He did make a 54-yarder.
I hope fans understand too. Like, this is why the NFL is awesome because the margins are just so thick.
It is.
Think Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker is this goat, and now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, he's hooking stuff. And some of the hooks, they ain't much.
No.
It's because your swing is just a hair off. It's just like golf, man. If your technique is a hair off.
Well, Tom too.
Go from I had a 300, 400-yard drive to hey, it went distance-wise 250, and I hooked it 50 yards into the woods. Yeah. And that's what's happening. And then you have to battle that all game. It totally changes your game, and it's no different in the NFL. Now John Harbaugh's well, shoot. He's talking to Todd Monken dude, I'm not confident we can make a 40-plus yard field goal. What do I do?
Yeah, I want to make it. I want to make it. I want to make it.
It just changes your strategy.
I want to make it clear too. I think everyone that's the year's over, they don't play that well in the playoffs at home. They don't play very well at home in the playoffs. I'm okay with them going on the road. That's fine, and I think they can compete with anybody. My thing is, you can't play sloppy and beat good teams. You got to be careful. That's going to get you again. Yeah, you might only lose. You might only lose by 3.
I think the Ravens have to get that signature win this year. And I don't know what it is, but they got to beat. You know, like, I mean, it was interesting. They beat the Bills, but it's almost like the Bills just didn't show up, right? But they gotta
Well, I think that one isn't fair.
Signature win where it's really close.
I don't think that one was fair because they were home and played at night. When they play at night at home, they're really hard to beat. When they're wearing all blacks, they're pretty hard to beat.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's like the jerseys they never want to wear, which I don't get, but that's a different discussion. They're like, we play well in them. Screw that.
You know, I actually want to take that statement back. They do have signature wins. They've beaten Cincinnati twice, and Cincinnati's actually a good, desperate team.
They lose to bad. The problem they have is they've lost 2 games to teams they shouldn't have lost to. You can't get that's 2 losses in the loss column right now that you shouldn't have.
But think also if they beat Baltimore once, right? If they just beat them once, they're they're a potential playoff team. Like, dude, they just can't, like, they keep losing these razor thin games, right? Ravens got out of both those games. Those are tough games.
They are.
Like, those are not games that are cakewalks. I think the problem is, and like this is where I think it gets back to like the coaching and the messaging and all that, is like the Cleveland game. That game, the Ravens just got totally just outclassed, and they just looked like they thought, hey, we're going to cakewalk this thing.
Yep.
And, like, the Steelers, I don't think that was it. It's just, like, I just don't feel like the game plan was good enough.
No, I think the Steelers...
And honestly, that's a lot of coaches in the NFL. Like, I'm going to get them on Matt LaFleur and that coaching staff against the Bears in a little bit, too. Because there's just some things I just don't get.
No, I agree.
And they've done it all year long.
No, I agree.
The Ravens will be fine. Like, it's just, I mean, you don't know in the playoffs. That's the one thing I gotta say too. Like, dude, Green Bay, nobody would have thought that they would have beat Dallas last year the way they did. They've beaten them. They beat them so bad that Dallas hasn't won a home game since.
Yeah, that is crazy. They broke them, dude. They broke them so bad.
And now you look at it like, I mean, even this year, like, dude, the way I look at Green Bay is like they are so super talented. You just see it. It's just like, they're, from my standpoint with them, they're a really young team. But like, honestly, I'm not sure what they'll do in the playoffs. Because honestly, if they keep playing the way they do, they're exiting really quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be probably one and done, or maybe they get a wild card win.
Dude, the only team I honestly think is like consistently been playing well is the Lions. The rest of the teams, I'm kind of like, it's okay, and even them, they had.
I'll say this about the Lions though: are they peaking at the wrong time?
Yes, yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Bad teams, which is what you should do, right? But I will tell you that Packer game, like, I honestly thought Jeff Hafley actually had a really good defensive game plan, and like they just told Goff manage it. But man, if Love doesn't throw that stupid pick six, I don't really know if Detroit wins that game.
Well, Tom, this is my issue. You threw those 5 picks. If that happens in the playoffs, we'll see how it goes. That's all I'm gonna say. And he has those games where People like the thing with the Lions is they don't have a good deep passing game, and that's been what everyone said going into the season. That was their problem. So, and honestly, like Penei Sewell and stuff, I've noticed like you in Green Bay, guys are able to get when they're one-on-one with him. They were able to get him. I think like their offensive line, like they do a good job of scheming them to protect them, but I think like Decker's aged really quick, and Penei Sewell isn't playing as well as he has in pass protection in the past. He's a really good run blocker, but there's been like times one-on-one, I'm like, dude, he's getting like spin move, he's overset, and he's just giving like an easy pass to the quarterback, and I'm like, oof. Yeah.
He's still really good. I'm just saying that there's times this year I was like, he's kind of like, if you can get him isolated one-on-one, you can win it. But
Tom, you want to transition to the Packer game?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, I'm gonna let Tom just go. I have it on the screen. Packers won 20-19.
Okay,
Tom.
Go ahead.
You go ahead. No, you go. This your horse.
No, I mean, I'll just like, hey, you know what? I will never apologize for winning the NFL.
No. Tom, if Tucker would have made that field goal,
closing.
you know, I would have been talking on here like, yeah, 3 turnovers and they still couldn't beat us. Yeah, I'm like, nah, we didn't. So that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, number one, I'm still like, Caleb Williams is talented, but I'm not super sold on
Yeah,
him because like I haven't seen anything deep down the field. Like Green Bay, the one thing I'll say is the new guy they have calling plays was smart. They're getting the ball out of his hand real quick. Green Bay was like they couldn't get pressure on him because they didn't have time to. Like it was literally like the ball was out in 2 seconds. Green Bay, like what's killing them on defense is Jair Alexander. That is something this offseason, like that team's really got to figure out, like, hey, is this guy actually going to play a full season anymore or not? And if not, they got to figure out how to move him. Like, when he's healthy, he is really good, but I don't know if he's ever going to be healthy again. And it's super frustrating because I think that's actually one of the things that's holding this defense back from being even better than what they were doing early in the year. I don't know if that solves the pass rush problem, but this game I gotta say, like they got in key moments, they did get sacks and pass rushes, and you're starting to see like Rashawn Gary starting to turn it up a little bit, and I hope in the next 7 weeks they can figure that out and like be able to manufacture more pressure, because if they do that, they have a chance in the playoffs. I will say the thing that's been super frustrating. Green Bay is like the 29th ranked team in the red zone. And for the love of God, so what you're seeing is 2 pieces to this. Jordan Love is not confident throwing the ball down there. And I don't know why. Other than I think those picks are getting in his head. But even though a lot of those picks, they're not red zone picks. They're just, hey, overthrew someone deep or something. He didn't, even the one he overthrew to Kraft, the read was right. He just like hummed one for it to just sail a little bit. You're like, what are you doing? But what was nice is you saw him healthy. He actually played really well. Like he averaged 15.5 yards a pass attempt. And he only threw it 17 times. He had like 270 or 60 yards. Like it was a weird game where there wasn't a lot of possessions to get a rhythm. Mm-hmm. But they were just, they got massive chunk plays, and he completed 13 and 17. That's pretty good. I thought it was his best game that he's played overall this year, which is like super encouraging. But in the red zone, man, dude, the Packers have to just give the ball to Josh Jacobs, for the love of God. Get some confidence down there and just run it in. Stop trying to get so cute all the time. Dude, Josh Jacobs, the one touchdown he got, he made Edwards miss in the hole, and he, at his acceleration and, from the 5-yard line, got in untouched. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, this guy should have, 15 to 17 touchdowns this year, because that's what you should do. Yep. At this point, and I still think Green Bay has a massive wide receiver problem. I actually don't know if they have a true number one. I thought Christian Watson showed this week exactly why they keep I think he is the number one guy, but again, Romeo Dobbs, he dropped a really key 3rd down, and you're it's always something, right? Dontavian Wicks was a non-factor because I think the drops, he's caught only 14 passes this year, and they've had 67 targets. So, you know what I mean? I think the offense doesn't have a lot of confidence in him anymore.
No, I agree.
Because it's dude, you got to catch the ball, man. And I don't blame him, but those things have got to start getting a little ironed out. Because I think the one thing I wish they would do more, they need to get Jaden Reed. They need to throw the ball down the field to him. They like to do the cute stuff at the line of scrimmage, which is great because he's a great space player. But he's actually man, you get him in the open field, down the field, and you hit him. He's really good on deep crossing routes. Yep. He just takes it to the house every time. And those are things they need to find ways to get more explosives that way and mix it in. Because the thing is, the offensive line is playing really well. They ran the ball in Chicago. Chicago couldn't do anything to stop it. Yeah. Really, what Green Bay was doing was, again, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. The turnover in the red zone early, they went from being potentially 14-3 to now Chicago is able to get a field goal, right? Or no, they went and they had a long touchdown drive. Yep. You know, like I said, Green Bay's so talented, but they just don't put it all together.
Nope.
And it's amazing. What I can't figure out is how they're 7-3. But that was a huge win, Josh, because man, if they were 0-3 in the division, like they'll still get in the playoffs. But like, dude, it's just like, you know, I gotta say this though about Chicago, man. Matt Eberflus, why would you not try to get 5 more yards with under 15 seconds?
That was really bad, yeah.
What are you doing? Like, this is why, like, Chicago is the continuous. They're not as bad of a dumpster fire as the New York Jets, but they are there. And, like, what on earth? Like, why would you not? Like, you have to actually want to beat a team.
Yeah.
That's it. And that told me is, like, you were just okay. And you know, honestly, that's why Chicago deserves to lose it, and that's why they continue to be the snake-bitten franchise they are. And they're just, I just cannot believe that they drafted a quarterback again and kept this guy as a head coach because he's not shown you anything. He can call a defense, that's not the issue. But, you know, when it comes to actually managing the game, you need a guy that can actually do it.
No, I agree.
Not to say that there's a few things I do question with LaFleur sometimes, and you know, he didn't go for a field goal down in the red zone, and they tried to go for it, which is a lot of. I'm not so sure. I think it was maybe the right call, but I'm also a big believer if you take the points on the road. What you don't know is, hey, if you kick that field goal to Chicago, then they get it on like the 25-30. Do they actually get a long drive? Versus Green Bay pinned them, and they actually got the ball back.
Well, it reminds me of like
have a long drive.
Reminds me of like when the Ravens didn't take the field goal against Cleveland the first drive. Take the points sometimes. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too that was frustrating in that drive is they went for 2, but even LaFleur said like the 2-point play was just awful. It was literally a handoff, like dive or ISO to, you know, Josh Jacobs. Number one, if you're gonna do that, man, line up under center and let him go. Don't run out of shotgun. Rasheed Walker had a really bad whiff on the end because honestly, Josh Jacobs could have just, cut it and he would have been in. But it wasn't like, I guess what's frustrating is even like LaFleur's like, I didn't really have a good play. And I'm like, well, then why did you do it?
Yeah.
Just kick a field goal. Again, it's just like those are the things I don't understand. It's like if you don't have good plays and stuff. Or even like the 4th down play, when they went for it for the touchdown, he tried to go for a touchdown on 4th and 6. He goes, I wasn't confident in anything. It was another bad, like, hey, we're just going to hand off to Josh Jacobs and see what happens. And I was like, what are you doing? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
If you don't have a play, then you should kick a field goal.
No, I agree.
Like, don't, like, let go of your hubris and, like, actually, like, try. Like, just do what you got to do to win the game.
Yeah.
But those are like, so trust me, LaFleur doesn't get a pass on some of these things either. Like, he's got to grow at some point and say, hey, that's like, and that's kind of been the bane of his existence too, right? Like, you think that NFC title game against Tom Brady, the time that he should have went for it to win the game, he decided to kick a field goal and then, like, hopefully Green Bay's defense finds a way to stop Tom Brady. And it's like, wait a minute, you're playing the GOAT. Yeah. Why are you not trying to go for the jugular?
Yep. No, true.
So I think, and like until LaFleur learns that, I'm not so sure they will get to a Super Bowl because that's what it takes. Yeah. You have to when it matters. But I'm gonna get off my high horse, dude. Somehow the Packers are 7-3. It's awesome. They're way. You know, you think of last year, dude. They're gonna be a wild card team the way it's looking, but. Look, they're a team, like, if they start clicking together the next few weeks, and this is the heart of their schedule where it's hard, that is a dangerous team going into the
here's
playoffs.
The thing me and you just talked about, right? That we talked about Detroit maybe peaking too early. The thing I like about the two teams we root for, you saw the Ravens defense kind of, I know it was the Steelers, but they were kind of figuring out a way to play solid. If they can do that, they're going to be really tough because I know they can score. If they can hold teams to like 20, I'm like, okay, now we got a shot. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Packers. If Packers start gelling, and I think they have less issues than the Ravens. If the Packers start gelling, they could really roll. Okay, because Jordan Love, I feel like he does have some turnovers, but like you said, I feel like he makes a lot of plays though. So I'm like, it's kind of like it's what you get, and it's kind of awesome. I still think he's really good because the guy's confidence is great. Like he is not gonna. The thing I like about him, he's not gonna leave it on the field. Right, he is gonna try to win you that game. He might throw the pick, but he
Oh
also might
yeah,
throw the touchdown. So I'm like, he's not gonna.
yeah.
You're never gonna be like,
And what,
man, I wish you would have tried to win the game there. It's gonna be like, no, Jordan Love's gonna. He's gonna go for it. He's gonna throw that ball. Okay, that's what I like about him.
well, and that's what was I think a little disappointing this week.
Hmm.
There are times where there were guys open, and you could tell they're trying. He's trying to be.
Less
He's trying not to
turnover
turn the
prone.
ball over,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, you know what? And that's what I was afraid of when everyone kept criticizing him about the picks. Is like, dude, you got to let him play.
Yep.
Right, because that's his like. Dude, the guy's got a rifle. If anybody watched some of those throws when him on a healthy knee. Oh my goodness, dude! There were some of those throws. I was like, that is a Brett Favre like bullet.
Well,
Not,
the
like,
thing I
very
like about him though
close.
too,
And you're just like,
he has great touch too. He's just got a really good arm. It's crazy. Like he
yeah.
puts a nice touch on
He
it.
just he just got the NFL. It's like getting in a rhythm and confidence, right?
Yeah.
And that game was so weird, Josh, because like the Packers ran like 60 plays, which is not a lot in an NFL game. Like,
Gotcha.
like at half they ran like they only had like 2 or 3 series.
Oh man,
So
yeah.
you're just like it was so weird because both teams were just like, I think Chicago, they're just dinking and dunking it.
I'm
That's all they could do.
I'm
They
still
didn't,
in
they
the.
didn't stretch the field.
I saw
so they
bits.
just like the clock was just ticking. It was very weird.
I've saw bits and
And you're just
pieces
like,
of the
what?
game,
Yeah.
like because I was watching the Raven game at the time, and I'm like just started the first quarter. I'm like 3-4 minutes in. I'm trying to rewatch it, but you know how it is with kids. I'm kind of like on and off with it. But I'm trying to rewatch the game, so I barely started it. That's why I didn't watch the whole game. So I'm in the moment of doing it. I'm just letting everyone know that. That's why I'm listening to Tom. He has a little more analysis than me. I saw the end too, which I still don't know what their coach was doing. Like you said, like Tom was saying about Uberflus. Dude, what are you doing? It reminded me of the Bengals coach against the Ravens when he was just like, hey, we're going to run the ball 3 times. Like, bro, get a couple more yards. Then kick the field. Like, it's wild. These coaches get
Dude,
so scared.
Shout out to the Packers special teams though. Like seriously, Rich Pisaccia goes. He's like, I don't know how we gotta block a kick this game. And they did it at the right time. There were no illegal procedures. They did it exactly to the rule book. Even though the Bears are trying to like argue someone shoved Carl Brooks in there. No, that guard is trash, and he doesn't know. And he doesn't. They never hold that point. They've had so many block kicks this year, and like I said, yeah, like they clearly haven't fixed the problem. And good. Like honestly, good for the special teams because like the Green Bay special teams constantly gets crushed. About like, hey, like they have Keyshawn Nixon back there, but he really doesn't, he's not had that all-pro returner type year ever since 2020 or whatever.
I think Tom's gave you a good assessment of like I think the Packers are going to be fine, and like the Ravens too. I think they're both going to be teams you're probably not going to want to play at the time, but for right now, I mean, 7 wins for both of them is pretty good. I was telling someone with the Ravens, I'm like, you win these next 2 games, you're 9-4. It's okay. You gotta get back on the horse, man. Just go right before the bye. Take a bye. Go play. So we'll see how that goes. Now we're gonna do our quick.
It doesn't matter, dude. You just gotta get in the dance, man. Like clearly, home field advantage. Like I mean, honestly, like if you think about it with the Chiefs, who cares if you got to go to Arrowhead? That ain't gonna truly. That ain't gonna make the difference.
Well, I was thinking about it, Tom.
Out,
Tom, I was thinking about it. The Ravens have a good running back. If they run the ball, Todd Monken, you have a good running back, and Buffalo and Kansas City's kind of nice. It kind of fits you. You get one of them 40-mile-an-hour win games in Buffalo, you definitely have the advantage with the running game you got. So I'm just saying that might be what you.
Exactly. Even like you talk about like the Buffalo Kansas City game. Buffalo always finds ways in the regular season to come out with a W. What they can't figure out in the playoffs is they always go away and they never execute. When you think about like how they ran the ball, they're gonna like all of a sudden the playoffs they'll just stop it. Like yeah, exactly, dude. In the NFL, you got to be able to run the ball. That's the one thing. That's why I have confidence Green Bay can like get this together
Okay,
because
Josh.
they have ran the ball so well this year.
I love what has
like,
happened.
As long as they don't get away from that, like you don't need Jordan Love does not need to throw the balls 30, 40 times a game.
No,
Really
I love what has happened in the NFL with the renaissance of the running back from the standpoint of before it's like, why are you signing these guys? All three of the signings this year, the major guys, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry, all have played amazing. It's like, yeah, you need a running back. It really helps a lot. It makes a lot of things easier.
You need a running back that can take volume carries.
Yes.
That is what those guys are. And you know what? Like, I love Aaron Jones. He had an incredible career in Green Bay, but he can never do 30 carries a game. Where he's like, we need you.
Okay, we'll do
to get us 5 yards to carry.
I know you got I know you only got like 5 minutes, so we'll do a quick around the league. I have all the scores up. Anything that catch your eye from around the league, Tom?
I just want to keep joking about the Jets disaster and man, oh my goodness, it is like how honestly, in all seriousness, clearly and dude. Number one, Woody Johnson, just sell the team, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, suck up your you do not belong as an NFL owner. You don't understand how to build a culture. You don't understand what you're doing. You fired Saleh, which made no sense. I honestly think they would be in a better position if they still had him. The second piece is and then on top of it, now you decide to make Joe Douglas the scapegoat, which honestly, that roster has the talent, man. They actually should be fighting for a wild card spot.
Yeah.
What they failed at, I think what they failed in is again, number one, you kept Nathaniel Hackett there, and they just bent the knee to Aaron Rodgers. That's what killed them. What they should have done is say, hey, you're here, but again, we'll negotiate with you and understand what you like, what you don't like. But we can't make this the Green Bay Packers East Coast team.
No. You got all them old people in there with all these contracts that were terrible. It's
dude,
a mess.
Number one, I think what's funny is everybody keeps they're like, man, are the Vikings gonna try to get Rodgers in the building? And I'm like,
wow.
Honestly, I don't know. The difference with Favre is I don't think Favre is necessarily the cancer that Rodgers is.
Well, he played a lot better with his time with the Jets too. I mean, everyone forgets he had before his arm got beat up. He had them rolling,
So that's the thing, just Rodgers, dude, there's no zip on the ball anymore. No. He just doesn't have, honestly, I can't believe he's going to play one more year. Because any team that's, you are stupid to take one more shot with him. You need the perfect, setup of a team.
Yep. Really good defense. You need to have,
yeah. And that's Rodgers' problem, is he hasn't had, that's the thing I will always respect to Peyton Manning when he won that second Super Bowl. He knew he had 20 throws in him.
Yep.
That's it. That's all his shoulder got. And he made sure to get them in the right run play and run the ball.
Yep.
He understood I can't do it that way.
No, I agree.
That's the thing, Rodgers will never, again, he's too narcissistic to say, hey, we just need to run the ball with Breece Hall, and honestly, I need to throw the ball 20 times, and we need to execute those. Instead, they try to do all this cute stuff like it's the old, Packers, and
Yep.
and it's sad. It's just they have the talent. Honestly, they honestly, if they threw it 20 times a game with Devontae, all those guys, they'd actually probably be a 6-3 team.
Okay, Tom, you know I'm gonna bring this up because I said it when it happened 2 years ago. I want to say it was, or a year and a half ago. Hey, Sauce Gardner. Hey, everybody. How's Aaron now? Huh? Because you all were like, oh my God, we got Aaron. Oh my God, we're gonna win. Oh yeah. No. It doesn't work that way. Tom, remember that? They had a fire to get him to come to the team. Yeah, your little seance fire. Yeah, how's it working out? Where's all the tweets?
The receipts from the media right now.
Yeah.
Crushing.
Where y'all at now? Come on.
Crushing Pat McAfee, because that show's just a frat house show.
It is. It's Barstool, man.
They were making fun of Brian Gutekunst of who's this guy? Who's been laughing since they got rid of Rodgers?
Yep.
Every Packer fan was if any good Packer fan actually sat there and after they lost to Detroit in 22, and they sat there and would go, okay, we want Rodgers back for one more run after all the nonsense he pulled for those in 21 and 22.
Yep.
About, hey, how he's trying to change the culture in the front office, and he thinks he can run things better.
Yep.
You're telling me that like, and you weren't ready to go.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but yes, I did, because I told you guys I was going to remember this. I don't like when people run their mouth before something happens. Let it happen. Don't, guys. You talking like you got Joe. You talking like you got Tom Brady on your team. That ain't Tom Brady, bro. Great player, Hall of Famer, amazing. Ain't what he used to be. I like how everyone thought he was going to come back from this Achilles too, and just magically Achilles injury when you're like 40 and just be better than you were before. The same. No, that ain't how that works.
Maybe, he probably should have taken his COVID shot. He might have actually came back stronger.
Yeah. How about that amazing recovery?
What's really sad about Rodgers, from like my standpoint as a fan.
Yeah.
Like Favre, at least, like, again, he's still my favorite Packer quarterback because he can just relate to like the common person, right? Like he's not trying to be a narcissist,
Yep.
Dude, he's got his flaws. Like, please don't take this as
No, I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone needs you to say that. I think they know that. You're fine. A lot of football players have flaws.
But
it's okay.
You can't argue though with the guy if you can relate to him, and he's like, he's down to earth in some aspects. Rodgers has just always been like, I mean, dude, Mark Murphy said it. He's a complicated fella.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean he's not a good,
player.
When he was younger, absolutely, man. It made so, hey, he was so good that his characteristics didn't matter. But man, dude, when you get to what now, the back half of his career is just so disappointing in terms of like the leadership level. I just don't think he ever showed. And honestly, the disrespect he showed to like the Packers organization. The Packers will always be greater than any one player, any one coach, and it sucks the way he left.
Yeah. Because
I think he just he started getting in the media. He started just like talking just wacky stuff, and dude, if it's something you said as an athlete, just shut up and play. Seriously, shut up and play.
No.
You should be honored. You should be honored and like grateful that you get to get paid millions of dollars.
I just think you can't say that. He has been way too loose with the stuff he says. It's crazy. Like, you're just out there saying the most wild things. You got to calm down sometimes. Before we go, I just want to give a shout out to J.K. Dobbins. He's having a really good season. I'm glad. Love the guy. We're going to see him Monday night. And then Josh Allen. Great job winning that game. I want to give him credit. Right now, from a Ravens fan, because everyone thinks us and the Bills fans have beef. I don't have no beef. Love Josh Allen. He wins the MVP. Deserves it. Love the guy if he does. I would say he's the front runner. I still, if you're going stats wise, but they never do. It's a quarterback one. I'm not even gonna bring up the running backs because they don't have a shot anymore. But they should, but they don't. Like McCaffrey, I thought should have won it last year, but that's beside the point. You can go back and see that if you want on their videos. But I think Josh and Lamar are definitely the two going for it. And, right now I would put Josh in the lead just because of the record and everything. But, hey, I don't think either one of them want the MVP. I think they want the trophy. So hopefully that happens for one of them. Well, Buffalo winning a Super Bowl wouldn't be the worst thing either because, God, I feel bad for them. We can get off the schneid, baby. Let's go, Buffalo. Always got a soft spot for Buffalo. And I didn't live there like Tom, or close to. But anyway, Jets suck.
They have fun fans, that's for sure. Definitely deserving of getting a Super Bowl title if they can. But they're a little bit snake bitten of a franchise, too.
Jets suck.
But, all right, brother.
By the way,
we did it.
Subscribe for more of our content. Thanks. The likes are always awesome. And as always, Tom.
Roll Tide, anchor down.
Roll Tide, anchor down.